Hey guys, how are ya? I hope that this finds you doing really well. Welcome back. It looks like we're going to be doing e-learning for a few more weeks, huh? So, I'll start off with just getting the nitty-gritties out of the way. Welcome back. The project is due this week. Not sure how you guys are doing on it. Some of you are doing awesome. But this week, any day this week, you can turn it in under the final presentation, and that will be the one that I'll grade. I left you a few directions last week. Make sure you're capitalizing the names of countries, watch your punctuation, your grammar, all that kind of stuff. So I know you can do it. So I'm looking forward to reading them. Let's go to the next slide there. And that next slide says Palm Sunday. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I'm so bummed that we didn't get to do our devotions together, the Easter devotions. But if you look at that picture, it's actually a picture that I took, and it shows the gates that Jesus would have gone through on Palm Sunday. I think I shared this with some of you already, but my tour guide in Israel was Jewish. And she said to me, "Oh, this is where your Jesus would have fulfilled an Isaiah prophecy saying he was going to ride a donkey. Palm branches, which is the symbol for a king, would be laid down." And I said to her, "If Jesus is fulfilling all these prophecies, why don't you believe in him?" And she said to me, because Jesus didn't save them from the Assyrians, the Babylonians. If he really was their king, he would have done this. So they bricked up the wall shortly after that. And they said this time they'll know for sure, because not only will the Messiah have to be riding a donkey, palm branches, all the fulfillment, but he'll also have to break through the brick. And I was thinking, is there something I'm expecting from Jesus and he's doing it his way and not mine? And so I'm putting up a brick wall to stop him from coming into my life? I don't know. Really reflect on that. Palm Sunday is Sunday. I hope you guys are doing devotions and just spending some time thinking about this whole season and what it means. Okay, now on to Soch. Next slide, okay? The next slide, I hope you turn to page 387 and 388 in your book. If not, pause this for a minute. Go get your book and open to those pages because we're going to be following along. We've talked about some of this, but I feel like we've been gone from each other for like 10 days, so I wanted to just recap for you. Adjusting to peace. Peacetime. Adjusting to peace wasn't as easy as it sounded. The returning servicemen were flooding the market, and you know what that means, the white guys. Veterans won out over female workers in competition for jobs, and certainly over African Americans. Now remember, people had money. They were working during the war, but they had nowhere to spend that money when the war was on. They weren't making new cars, they weren't making new refrigerators, new vacuum cleaners, any of that kind of stuff, because the factories were all working on only having war machine things that they were making in their factory. So the people had money. This is going to lead to a little bit of an unrest. Okay, turn to the next slide. Labor unrest. There you go. But you know what? I'm going to start with the second one. Civil rights. Because there's the emoji, and you're probably all wondering, what a crazy picture. But tell me if you can figure out why I picked that one. I'm going to read it for you, page 389. To deal with these problems, President Truman created a commission on civil rights. He issued an executive order in July 1948 ending racial segregation and discrimination in the armed forces. Truman also asked Congress for an anti-lynching law and an end to the poll tax as a requirement for voting. However, when Southern Democrats in Congress balked at the proposals, Truman backed off. Nonetheless, he was the first president to make equal rights a national issue. The action he took began the federal government's effort to deal with racial issues. Do you see why I picked that one? Oh my goodness! We still don't have an anti-lynching law. We still have poll taxes as a requirement for voting down south. When is this going to end? Just seems absolutely crazy. This is 1948. Okay, now did you notice though that he did end racial segregation and discrimination in the armed forces? If we were in class, I would stop and say to you, what's significant about that? What's significant is that the government is admitting that segregation and discrimination is wrong and they're not allowing it in the armed forces. Guys, this opens the door for civil rights. Our next chapter is going to be civil rights. It's just going to be one thing after another. And you can't be this hypocritical. The government can't be. If it's saying it's wrong in one area, it should be wrong in all the areas. Oh my, stay tuned. Okay, labor unrest. Supply and demand. Their wages didn't go up, but now because items are scarce, prices are going up. We've talked about this a lot. So people are going to go on strike, and so you need to read that in your book, page 388 and 389. Okay, next slide. The Fair Deal. Love trivia. So check out the picture on page 389. There's a copy of that picture hanging in the basement of the house in Cantini. Yeah, sad. We were supposed to go there on a field trip, and you would have seen that. What is weird about it? Dewey defeats Truman. Do you remember ever hearing about a President Dewey? Okay, President Truman also is the first president to use negative campaigning, and he discovered how effective it was. So now we know who to blame for our negative campaigning. All right, turn to the next slide. All right, here you go. Origins of the Cold War. We talked about this too. Cold War is a war that doesn't involve fighting. You hear of firepower. Fire is hot. Packing heat, hot. So Cold War would imply the exact opposite. There was no physical fighting. There was no shooting. But I told you before, Cold War can be equally as dangerous. All right, what I want you to notice on this picture is the green is the Soviet Union. It's pretty ironic. The Soviet Union fought to free all these people from the tyranny of Hitler, and now they claimed them, and they were pretty brutal. So that's the green, and then the other countries are fighting for democracy. Notice the picture all the way on the right. That's Berlin. Berlin's going to be divided into 4 zones. You can see Berlin is located in the communist area, and they're going to try and get rid of that pocket of democracy in the middle. So they're going to build walls. They're also going to stop any trucks from bringing food in. All right, turn to the next slide. Marshall Plan. Here you go, page 392. This is when the war almost turned hot. Truman responded by approving a huge airlift. What I'm talking about is they weren't letting food get in. They were trying to starve the people into submitting to the communists. So Truman started a huge airlift. For nearly a year, U.S. and British cargo planes made 275 flights into Berlin. There they are, dropping off food and supplies. That'd be pretty amazing if we ever had to do that, right? Marshall Plan. They offered $13 billion in aid to Western and Southern Europe. Sounds like so much money, and it is $13 billion. But think about it. President Trump just okayed $2 trillion in aid to the people in the United States. Wow. This is really really something. Okay, next slide, guys. Containing communism abroad. Containment is the policy that we use. We weren't trying to stop them. We were trying to contain them. We had drawn what we called the Iron Curtain, our line in the sand, whatever you want to say, and we said you cannot cross that. We are going to contain you. Stay where you're at. However, he also passed the Truman Doctrine, which promised aid to people struggling to resist threats from democratic freedom. Truman Doctrine is going to get us into 2 more wars because this just says we promise to help you. And then there's NATO, an alliance which included the United States, Canada, and 10 Western European nations. If you're somebody who likes history, go to the NATO page, homepage, and look up what they're up to these days. Pretty interesting stuff there. All right, next slide. Fear of communism. Oh my goodness. We were freaking out about communism. We formed the House Un-American Activities Committee, and they went around looking for people. They were really targeting Hollywood, actors, directors, writers. Probably the most famous person they targeted was President Reagan, because before he was president, he was a movie star. You can look up YouTubes about him. That's pretty fun. You should be on page 392 in your book. Ethel and Julius Rosenberg, spies who were shot. Again, trivia. Find out who shot them. All I can say is, yeah, it's a surprise. Find out who turned them in. Okay, next slide. This is our last slide, page 393 to 395. This is the video that I made for you guys before spring break. Skip past the devotion and watch it again for the Korean War details. Once you've read up to 395, you're all caught up. And you'll notice there's no worksheets on any of this. So you're going to want to hold on to this PowerPoint because it's going to be sort of your notes. But you also have your book, and then we're going to figure out how I can make sure you're reading this and more importantly, if you have any questions about it. So maybe later on in this week we'll all get together and have a chat. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Get those reports in to me. Bye.